There's so many people that are incorporated with the arts that you just don't realize. So many people are like, the arts don't mean all that much or anything, like we could live without the arts, but seriously, no. Have you ever tried living without music and dance and color? Like it'd be such a dull and boring world.
My name is John Manis, he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Shakespeare. He's sort of portrayed as this kind of rock star type of character. And I believe the playwrights, their intent was to kind of give this sort of modern spin on this time period that a lot of people just don't know a whole lot about. And the idea was that, well, Shakespeare was as big a deal in his time as we would have today. The equivalent would be something like a rock star. So they, play with these ideas of, he's going to go do his greatest hits. So he shows up and does his own speeches and things. It's probably refreshing for people to see arguably the greatest playwright and poet in the English language struggling. And I think all artists struggle at some point, especially when if in Shakespeare's case, he's trying to outdo what he did before. And if you're already the greatest, how do you become greater than the greatest? It helps to bridge that gap between us normal folks and this guy who created this amazing art, to realize that, he probably had difficulties and struggled and had a hard time coming up with ideas as well.
My name is Michaela House, she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Portia in Something Rotten. So musical theater, definitely I've been doing musical theater since I was like 5 years old. It was a big passion of mine growing up. Been doing that really ever since then. I've had like 3 or 4 shows a year, and up until I went to college, and then I've only been able to do it in the summers now, but I'm so happy to be back doing it. I've missed it a lot. But I have done 1 Shakespeare show. I did Romeo and Juliet, and that was tough. Definitely a lot more challenging than I expected it to be with all the line memorization and everything. So I definitely think this show does a great homage to all the Shakespeare plays that have been out there as a musical. She has a very big challenge between her love of poetry and her also being a Puritan. But before the show, she's found poetry and Shakespeare, and she absolutely loves it. Her biggest problem is finding love and wanting to incorporate that relationship with her father. But when she meets Nigel, they're just soulmates, and that's perfect. They both bonded over their love for Shakespeare and the arts and poetry. And so when they find each other, it's a cute, cute relationship. Definitely some stumbles and some awkwardness, but that's what makes them so adorable. There's so many people that are incorporated with the arts that you just don't realize. So many people are like, the arts don't mean all that much or anything, like we could live without the arts, but seriously, no. Have you ever tried living without music and dance and color? Like it'd be such a dull and boring world. And so I love that with any person you meet ever, they have some relationship with poetry, art, singing, dancing, painting. And so when she finds Nigel, she's had so many people tell her that's wrong, that's bad. She finds him and she's like, yay, I get to experience this with you and like really be true to myself.
My name is Jonathan Christian. My pronouns are he, him, and I play Nostradamus. I unabashedly love cats. It was the first thing I saw as a teenager, and I just thought it was magical. I didn't need some major story. I just thought the costumes were fantastic. The dancing was like something I'd never seen, the choreography. And it kind of is what inspired me to want to do something like that in my little small town of Dyersburg, Tennessee. I was raised in a family of musicians, so it just became kind of a different way to perform. And so since my family were all musically inspired, it seemed that if I was going to do theater, that was just the direction I should go. Whitney is really fantastic. She and I have a long history. We did a chorus line years ago together when she was 15 years old. And it has been so neat watching her grow into the person she is in the theater world today. I tell her all the time, and I don't know if she likes to hear it or not, but she's such a fantastic teacher. She just has a way of relaying information and what she wants from people in such a clear, concise way. It kind of has the same theme as most musicals, you know. There is this he's striving for something, he's striving for a goal, but it's wrapped up with a nice bow at the end. And I think it has a happy ending, which is something I also unabashedly love. I love a happy ending. I think there's a lot going on in the world nowadays that isn't necessarily nice to think about. So I happen to love everything to be wrapped up in a nice bow and be an escape for me when I go to the theater or to a movie or something. So that's one of the things I like about it.
So, final question. Do you hate Shakespeare?
No.
100% now. He's great.
Do you hate Shakespeare?
Absolutely not. I love Shakespeare.